Esteemed faculty of Two Rivers Classical Academy, distinguished scholars, those who have memorized their Latin declensions, and those who have not, please hear my appeal. As you know, we've been presenting options for our school mascot, and one of them will likely be chosen as the one. I've put much thought into this, and I have a proposal that I think beats out every other option presented so far. I mean, the platypus? Seriously? You know who you are. We need to be better than that. No. Rather, one of the most influential men in all of history, a man worthy of our respect, someone whose greatness is universally recognized, even in his own time. A man like that would be the perfect choice for our school mascot. Forget cute and cuddly creatures that hold no inspirational power, and forget the macabre beasts that men no longer fear to slay in our dominion of earth, and turn to something truly formidable, something to live up to and into. After looking near and far, I have found this man. To bear his name would be an honor. This man, the one so venerable as to be worthy of being our mascot, is the man Leonard Euler. Henceforth, I propose that we become the Two Rivers Eulers. Before you dismissively scoff, consider the richness of a heritage such as this. You see, Leonard Euler is the perfect mascot for our school for so many reasons. Allow me to lay out the chiefest of reasons for you today. First, a classical school deserves to be represented by a classical mind. Euler was classically trained, just as all of you are, giving us a clear and immediate camaraderie. Not only was Euler a mathematical genius, he was prolific in fields like music theory, physics, optics, astronomy, and philosophy. He even studied Latin just like you. He was truly a scholar of the liberal arts. Fun fact, he even memorized Virgil's Aeneid fully. Not just parts of it, the whole thing. On top of that, he had the first 100 prime numbers memorized and the first 6 degrees of those prime numbers. That is mind boggling. So, you're wondering about the classical credentials? Please, Euler has us beat. His lifestyle is classical credential enough. So, if we name ourselves after some random force of nature, like the cyclones or typhoons, we communicate nothing about our classical heritage to our friends and foes. Naming ourselves after Euler clearly communicates our school's prowess up front. But why Euler? Why not any other big name in history like Genghis Khan or Albert Einstein or Alexander the Great? Well, Euler produced a change that was longer lasting and more unifying than any of those other historical figures. Euler formalized math notation that we still use in all of our math classes today. And he connected ideas, cross disciplinary ideas, that no one had thought to connect before. And he did most of this work after he became blind. Talk about resilience. Talk about fortitude. So not only is he a great classical example, but Euler was a man of deep Christian conviction, a faithful Protestant his entire life. In fact, he even wrote a treatise defending the divine inspiration of the scriptures. He firmly believed that his mathematical studies revealed the rational order of God. Talk about loving God with all your heart and all your mind. You might worry that naming ourselves after some bigwig genius would portray us as arrogant and proud. Nothing could be further from the truth. Though genius is often associated with arrogance, All historical records plainly state that Euler was a humble, kind, and gracious man. Even after he became fully blind later in his life, he kept his like good-natured personality and continued producing groundbreaking work. In fact, the records state that his productivity increased after he became blind. That level of personal humility is something we should aim to cultivate in our own lives. Thus, to be a Two Rivers Euler would be a higher calling. Imagine the mascot itself. Picture this: a distinguished man wearing scholarly 18th century clothes and maybe not carrying a giant shield with math symbols emblazoned on the front. I think I would like that. Imagine the possibilities for chants and battle cries at sporting events. Pi is transcendental, your skills are worse than mental. Or we are the Oilers and the mighty foilers. Or E, 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 which could obviously stand for things like efficient, effective, effervescent, or extract, expunge, exterminate, or even eat everyone's eyes. I'm still workshopping these. But you want to talk about literal court vision? We're talking about the man who invented graph theory, which is one of the most visual branches of mathematics. Yes, I admit, it sounds like the Edmonton Oilers, that hockey team in the 51st U.S. state, Canada. And admittedly, yes, any longtime football fan might ask you about the Tennessee Oilers before they renamed themselves the Tennessee Titans. But honestly, if we're accidentally confused with these lesser than athletic programs, then let them. Let them underestimate us while we prove ourselves. Besides, mascots in the surrounding area just represent physical strength. Our mascot can represent so much more. The Oilers represent mental fortitude, strength of character, and unshakable faith. We would be identifying ourselves with discipline, precision, fortitude, courage, excellence. Honestly, guys, what could be more intimidating than that? Whose team would you really rather be associated with? A team who thinks that they're a puny bird like the Ravens or the Cardinals? Or a team whose name goes down in history as one of the greats? Think of it. Besides, statistically speaking, no one wants to lose to a team named after a Swiss genius. The psychological warfare alone is worth it. So, please, we cannot choose a mascot that is common and overused. No other school has a mascot like this. It would give us an identity that we could be proud of. Go Oilers!